I am on the way to one of the most dangerous places in Dayton. And it's dangerous because you can spend your life savings here. Good morning. Welcome to Margaret being Margaret. We're at Arugio's Garden Center in Dayton. It is a beautiful place. I just have to pick up a couple of tomato plants, maybe some flowers for the front yard. Do not let me spend more than that. You're in charge. I'm not capable. This is how I lose all my savings. This place is gorgeous. You did it. You pulled it off. I only bought tomato plants. Look at that. I'm so proud of me. And for those of you who haven't met the bunny, it's in the back seat of the car at all times. Happened many, many years ago and has stayed ever since. He's in charge. These are super sweet 100. And here I have 4 of these. And these are steak sandwich hybrids that harvested 70 days. So those are early too. That's all done. Mowed the lawn the other day. That's what I wanted you to see me do. And that's when I broke the microphone. Because the wind took this stand, knocked it over. The microphone broke. I just planted my little bit of tomatoes. And I want to play catch up with some of the things that have been happening the last week or two. So of course I have my trusty list, because otherwise I won't know what the heck I'm talking about. Welcome to Margaret being Margaret. Don't think I need the sunglasses. Hope you can hear me. The reason I'm afraid you can't hear me is because my new microphone broke. I said that a minute ago. I'm so disgusted. I talked to the company email. They don't even have the little pot that it would need. I have to send the whole thing back and start again. And I'll do it because it's a good system. And supposedly all the pots are coming in for it in the next month. But in the meantime, I will yell and hope you hear me. Or I'm talking to myself again for nothing. All right. Things that have happened that we should talk about. I mentioned that Matthew McConaughey seminar was a week or two ago now that I wanted to watch. I think it ended up being 6 hours long. I watched about 45 minutes. I don't have that kind of attention span. It was very good. I heard that later he went into trying to sell things, but it was all things that we've heard a million times and can use to be refreshed on. But it was a mile a minute and it was nothing new. So I'm glad I signed up. I'm glad I listened to the 45 minutes I did. Enough, I'm done. I'll get on. One of the posts I put up about all my regrets with raising the boys. You've all been so gracious with pointing out how we all do the best we can. And if we knew better, we did better. If we know better, we do better. I accept that. It still makes me sad, but I'm not going to get a do-over, so I'm going to just put it aside and understand that I did the best I could. That's done. Somebody asked about how to figure out how to style your hair, or how long it took me to figure it out. 69 years, folks. You know what it is? I think every single one of us try way, way, way too hard. And the less you play, the better. And I've said that before. I don't have any magic words there. You're going to have to be brave enough to try different things. And if you're like me and you try something different and kind of then force it back to what it always was, you're going to get what you always got. You want to give the illusion of an oval face. Whatever you have to do to get there outside of surgery, go for it. The pasta sauce I made, the meatballs that were Hamburg and hot sausage. They tasted fine. I don't like the texture. All that stuff is changing for me. I'm finding it very difficult to find things that I want to bother eating. Of course, my size does not indicate that, but I ended up eating one. I broke another one up into the sauce, but the rest of them got tossed. I didn't put them in the freezer. I'm not going to eat them. So that was a not so great thing. They were fine. I didn't do anything wrong. It's just I didn't enjoy them. The Sump Pump. You saw me go down and do the power washer, and somebody was saying to me how, the water got all over me when I unscrewed it, that I should let the water run out first. I did, but as we've seen in that video and everything else I do, I have no patience. I knew that was going to happen, and I still didn't care. I drained it for 20 seconds and thought, okay, it's coming out slowly enough that I can do that. That's me normally, so that's not a surprise. But the next day, the cellar still stunk. So I read up on it. I am not calling a remedial company to come in. I do not have that kind of money. And it said get lime. That's what professionals use. So I went to Home Depot. I got a 40-pound bag or a 30-pound bag of lime. Went down cellar, spread it all over the place. I think it's done the trick. It's a powder. I don't smell a thing. I haven't been down there. I assume right now it's probably eating through the floor. And I do understand why mobsters use that to decompose bodies. You can't smell anything. That's my tip for the day, but please don't use it. So I'll get down there in the next, today's Monday and I have to work all week, so next weekend I'll go see if I have any cellar left. I don't want to know. One of the questions this week is, do I have an opinion on long layers versus short layers for thin hair? I have two and they're both opposite. I had short layers until the last year because I felt that if you puffed it up, it gave you more coverage. Never thought the long layers would do it. Well, now I have longer layers up here and I love it. I don't know what it is because it's still showing, but not as much. So I think now I would say I like the longer layers more. And by long layers, it's like 5-6 inches on top versus the 3-4 that I always did. Try it and see if you like it. If you don't, it's only a pair of scissors to your hair and it grows back. Talking about the salon, I know, so many changes going on and with me trying to get ready to retire. But somebody asked why we're having such a difficult time finding hairstylists. I think I've said this before. Massachusetts changed its trade laws for hairstylists. If you're in the trades, you apprentice for a year or two, you have to work under somebody. They took it away for hairstylists. So these young people coming out of school who know nothing, and I'm sorry, but they know nothing because they were taught nothing, because they were taught by people who unfortunately were taught nothing, now go out to open their own salon or rent a chair and fall on their faces and leave the industry, where up until a year ago they'd come in and work with us for a couple years, decide they actually liked it and would work better under an umbrella, and stayed. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how the salon is going to thrive. We won't stop trying, but until that mentality changes, I don't see good things for the state of Massachusetts with my industry. The house numbers. God love me. I have wanted to change those house numbers for a long time. I decided to pull the 431, 432 down and put up 434, which, depending on what the town hall you're talking to, is what it belongs to be. I wanted the numbers bigger. I believe in proper prior planning. I did none of that. I bought those big letters. I was appalled when I put them up and then posted it, and somebody put, you could have just painted them white and not go through painting the board white, putting up the black. Never, never, never dawned on me. Tunnel vision, right on it. that really frustrated me that I did something that stupid. Somebody else mentioned, I had the 434 because I had 432, made it 434. I didn't think of that very honestly, but I wouldn't have done it. So I don't feel quite as stupid on that one, only because I wanted the letters larger and they were very small, but it never dawned on me. Never dawned on me. I hate having tunnel vision to the point where I can't see outside the lines. And I love the sign. It works. You can see it from the road. It's a little obscured by that railing, but not enough so that you can't see it. So that was a success. But what a bass-backwards way to do it. Unbelievable. Somebody asked me today about crocheting and knitting. I do both. I used to crochet when I was younger. I really enjoy that. Knitting, I do the European knitting, but I do it left-handed, so it was very hard for me to learn that. And I, until last year, knit slippers, over 100 pair a year for family, friends, everybody. I took that over when my mother died because she used to do that. I cannot say that I love knitting. It's more tedious for me. I do love crocheting, and I haven't done that for years. This winter when you saw me crocheting, it was because I was making a couple baby blankets for family and friends, and if I had something like that to do, I would do more. But no, don't tell me. Do not tell me to make them for the hospitals or to make them for centers. First of all, I don't have the money, the time, or the patience. I only do it when I have somebody that I love that I want to do it for. So there's nothing to show because I've given them all as gifts. I was thinking about this question. I don't have any answer for it. Somebody was talking about how much they're suffering through menopause. And I just laughed because I didn't suffer through menopause. I just lived with it. But I do remember being in full body sweats to the point of it running down my back when I was at work, and having Fatima try to put powder on my back when I told her not to do it, and she came out with a pancake on her hand because my back was soaked. And I remember walking around the salon with a wet towel on my neck. But I didn't have a lot of mood swings. I was just flipping hot. And confusion, yeah, but that's part of getting older, the not being able to recall things. And the way I handled it was the way I handle most things, and just announced it and told people, look, I'm not all there. So if I forget a word, jump in and really own it. I know when you're on the computer and you forget things, it's frustrating. I'm still doing it. There's nothing you can do about it. So you're going to have to grin and bear it and just accept it as another interesting part of life. Didn't help you, sorry. I was thinking about this morning. When I get up every morning, I have rituals. The first thing I do when I go on my iPad, when I've done all my stuff, is I go on the iPad in a special order, and I never vary. Open it, go to my local newspaper, check the obituaries. Go to the newspaper where the Salon is, check the obituaries. Then go to CNN News, read anything super fast that I think I want to hear. Go to Fox News to get the other side real fast. And then I do check Facebook to see what's happened with family and friends overnight. I do Wordle with the New York Times Wordle every day. And then I go onto YouTube to check our channel and see what you guys are doing. And I wondered if you all have obituaries that you check every morning. I've done that since I was a kid. That's not an old age thing. When I was in my 20s, I was already checking that. It's not as important anymore because on Facebook, it hits there before it hits the papers. And I don't know about where you are, but where we are, to post an obituary is a minimum of $500 or $600 in the local paper. So a lot of people are not posting at all anymore, and I don't blame them, especially if they've got social media on their side. But I want to hear about your rituals. This week, I'm working again all week because of my new girl training, and I have to go to the hospital on Thursday for a breathing test. And it's funny because I asked her if she wanted to work without me, because the girls will help her, or if she would feel more comfortable working later in the day when I can get there. She chose later in the day, and that always cracks me up because I'm so tough on them, and they tell me that, but then they don't want to be there without me. I'm a nice crutch. So Thursday, excuse me, Thursday I go for my breathing test just to see why inhaling and exhaling seems to be a problem. Friday, I am going to see the Righteous Brothers with a couple of my sisters and one of their husbands. I'm looking forward to this. This is in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I haven't been to anything like this in 30 years. So that's going to be fun. That's Friday night. I have to thank this YouTube channel, Crushing the 80s. It's Nanny and Moose. I was not a subscriber, and she gave the most wonderful, thoughtful, surprising shout out to our channel. I'm so touched. I was looking at our numbers, seeing how the subscriptions are growing earlier in the week, and all of a sudden it went from 7,100 maybe, and I watched it. All of a sudden there were 50 more people, and so I went to comments, and it said sent by Nanny and Moose, sent by Nanny and Moose. So I found the channel and watched it. Thank you so much. This is such a kind thing to do. First of all, I'm thrilled that you like what I do, Margaret being Margaret, but to take the time to give a shout out to the channel was above and beyond, and I can't tell you what it means. I was so shocked. So if you haven't gone over and check it out, Crushing the 80s with Nanny and Moose, and I love it. I really love it. It made my week. I was smiling from ear to ear, and of course I took a snippet and put it on my Facebook so that everybody could see, yes, people do know me. Not that anybody cares, but thank you, Nanny, from Nanny and Moose. That was phenomenal. You know, when I got dressed this morning, I knew I was going to hang around the house, but I wanted to go to Rujo's Garden Center. I threw this top on, and it was all wrinkled. So I ended up taking it off, throwing it in the dryer for a couple minutes. And it came out, put it on, it was still semi-wrinkled. And I'm thinking, you're going to the garden center. Really, Margaret, what does it matter? And I could not do it. I had to lug my ironing board out, get the iron out, and iron a t-shirt. Please tell me the rest of you do these things, because I still have too much pride, and I think that's what it is, to not try to look good. And that to me was just being lazy, and I could not do it. I need an answer to that one. Is that too anal? I have a feeling that's too anal. Shoot. My sister Karen came over yesterday on Sunday and had tea, and it turned into probably a 3-hour coffee clutch. We talked about Mother's Day because Karen is doing the Mother's Day sermon at her church, which I may show up to Sunday and listen to because I gave her my input, but we're afraid that if I show up I may interrupt to tell her she's not doing it right. That's a real possibility. She was trying to come up with describing mothers, and very importantly to say that you don't have to give birth to be a mother. I feel so strongly that some of the best mothering I ever got was not from my mother that gave birth to me. What an interesting conversation. I don't know what she came up with. We came up with a bunch of things about how it's a privilege. So I'd be interested in what mothering is for you. Maybe we can help Karen out with her sermon if you put something up. It was a great conversation. It was a nice visit. I always have a nice visit with any of my sisters. So that was good. It's a beautiful Monday. The air is gorgeous. Mowed the lawn yesterday. House is clean. I went grocery shopping the other day because I was starving. I bought ice cream, hot fudge, and whipped cream. I think that's lunch because I didn't buy any food. I don't have anything else I have to do for the day. And because I'm so busy at the salon, these days are getting quite precious to me. So I think I covered everything. Oh, one more thing. One of the other things, when Nanny and Moose were talking, she talked about how I had been married for a long time, but divorced for a very long time. I think I've said that before, but I was married for 33 years. I got married at 18. And when I was 52, my husband said he wanted to go find the love of his life. Okay, so we've been divorced for 15 years. It feels like yesterday. I kept the house. He bought a house in a nearby town. I have remained cordial to him. I have remained way too cordial to him because he'll call and ask for favors. And I finally, this week, said no. I'm tired of being taken advantage of. And he called one night when I get out of work and asked me to go pick up a prescription for him that he's perfectly able to do. And I said, I'm sorry, I just got home from work, I'm tired, no, and hung up the phone. The guilt I felt was incredible. Still not quite over it, but the relief I felt was even better. So 15 years divorced, in the process of divorcing. That's Margaret being Margaret. Doesn't pay sometimes. I have nothing else that I'm going to accomplish today. Now, saying that means I'm going to go in the house and find a million projects, but I'm hoping not to. I'm hoping I go have an ice cream sundae for lunch, maybe one for dinner. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for your comments below. I read every single one of them, and they mean a lot to me. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you find me again the next time we have an opportunity to be together. Have a good day.